Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "'Twas the guy I think I saw, a hazy figure through the thaw. To me he whispered, 'It time, Monday Night Raw.'"
Small in WWE, they just don't give you that level of recognition or anything. You know what I mean? It's sad because it's really Vince's creative control over WWE that does that. But there's been so many great. All right, see, they're already gabbing too much. I'm just gonna lower this.
So this is a Slayer vid. Phil records these videos for Slayer because on his Patreon he gives him between $50 and $100 per month. And I'm kind of blown away by this video because Phil is doing what he should do during the DSP re-acks. He's actually responding and has interesting dialogue to add to it. Not that I know that it has any value, but it's more than he will give you on any given DSP reacts.
In WWE that well. So this is Jay Lethal. He's been around for quite some time. He's been a Ring of Honor staple for a very long time. I know that. Ring of Honor, another indie federation that still exists to this day. And I used to watch him on Impact Wrestling back when he was much younger and he was kind of almost an up-and-comer. And since then, you know, he's been all around the world doing wrestling. And at one point he had the very famous memeable plot line where he was trying to imitate Ric Flair and do the woo-off with Ric Flair and everything. Everyone's seen that on the internet. And he's held world titles. I think he was recently the Ring of Honor champion. See, here's the thing. I don't follow.
So I'm not a WWE style enjoyer, but I don't know if Phil is correct here. But if he is, please let me know, because I'm actually curious, because I've never seen the guy this animated. And if he's animated, he's probably right, I think.
Matches. I haven't watched. This is the first wrestling match I've watched since WrestleMania 2020. So it's been about 3 years since I watched any wrestling. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I know I cut the guy off when he was talking about how he doesn't watch WWE anymore, but he follows it up saying how this is the first match he watched in blah, blah, blah years. But to be honest, as we go through this video, tell me in the comments at the end whether or not you believe this guy actually does not have any interest, vested or otherwise, in WWE.
It's from 2017. This is a wrestling federation that doesn't exist anymore. It was called What Culture Wrestling. What Culture used to be a huge website and or like YouTube channel that covered all kinds of stuff. They covered pop culture in many different ways, and wrestling was all kinds of stuff. They covered pop culture in many different ways, and wrestling was one of the huge things they covered. I guess something bad happened. I don't know if they had a falling out, or they had a ton of financial problems, or there was, like, I think one of the guys who worked for them, I got fired or something and screwed them over. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I guess at one point they were prominent. They had enough money, they could even do their own kind of wrestling fed, right? And here we go. I think I'm just going to leave the volume down because I really don't want to hear these guys gab the whole time. Like, they're just going to blab.
It's really ironic hearing this guy complain about people gabbing when that's what he does for a living for pennies on the dollar compared to what these guys are making. DSP, if you're going to complain about people gabbing and you don't think they're doing the right job, then why don't you go get a job commentating and make money off of running your mouth? Because that's all you've done for the past 15 to almost 16 years now. Like, come on, it's not that difficult.
Like, this guy, he's even smaller. He's smaller than Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan, of course, now he's called Bryan Danielson, you know, got lucky to get over in WWE the way that he did. That he had this kind of viral popularity with the fans. And it's a shame. I wish that we could see more variety in pro wrestling these days. And it's funny because they had, like, the whole cruiserweight division in WWE. Around the time the WWE Network launched in the mid-2010s, they wanted to have a bunch of variety of content. So they started a whole cruiserweight show. It was called, what was it called? 205 Live. And the whole idea was that you're supposed to be 205 pounds or less, cruiserweight. Like a.
All right, just to clarify, there was no one here. There was no one in his chat. There's no chat, no one to limb. There's nothing going on except for this video that is sitting between him and Slayer's $50. And the fact that he has so much more to say here than he does to his live audience says a lot. about the guy.
I'll be completely honest with you, John. I really think that he watches too much WWE because it feels like, no, I'm not lying, dude.
So here we go. A lot of technical wrestling, as you can see. This is the kind of stuff you really don't see in WWE wrestling. Actual technical holds. Look at this. A move that actually, if they were doing this for real and they were actually applying pressure, it would probably hurt really freaking bad. And to do this kind of stuff takes a lot of skill, takes a lot of prowess, takes a lot of knowledge. It's not just about bouncing off the ropes and pretending to punch someone. You know, this takes a lot of practice. There's pressure points and things being applied, right? And again, they're not trying to hurt each other. They're really protecting each other. They're not actually going to hurt each other with these moves, but they're going to show off their...
Look at this guy. He is like a pig in shit. He is loving this stuff. He is soaking it up, rolling in his oats. Man, WWE Champions was the best thing that ever happened to him if he could monetize it.
That hold, and you get a lot of applause as they keep escaping each other's hold, and no one's really getting the best of anybody, right? Nobody. No one's getting the best of anyone in this one. I think this is supposed to be the finals, correct? Like, this is supposed to be the final match of a tournament that they went through to qualify. So these are the final two guys, though it's like, I guess, winner wins the tournament here. And by the way, I've never seen this before. I have no idea who wins the match. Zero idea.
So I want you guys to take a minute and look at the hype on this man's face when he says, I don't know who wins. I have no idea, dude. Because he hates being spoiled on WWE fights. Our homeboy, PW Dubs, got fucking banned over accidentally spoiling a WWE fight that he supposedly did not care about. I will show you here.
All right, PW Dubs to the $1.30 is now banned from the chat for spoiling WrestleMania like a fucking idiot. Yes. Wow, my chat froze, so I can't actually do that, but here we go. I said right up front at the beginning of this stream, do not fucking spoil WrestleMania for anyone. He just spoiled a major match on WrestleMania in the stream chat, so you're banned now. Fuck you. Stupid asshole. Oh, he went for a leapfrog over, and Zach grabbed his foot, causing him to go down. Sayers was, oh, my foot hurts. Wrenching the foot. There you go. Now he's going to work that leg. So this is what they do in pro wrestling, is you'll get a limb, and you'll start to work on it. And now that becomes part of the story of the match, that limb is hurt. And for the rest of the match now, that limb is going to be the weakness of the wrestler. So here we go. He's got him into like this submission move. He's completely arching the back, so it's hurting the back, hurting the leg, right? He escapes and reverses into a pin position. Zach immediately takes him right back down, working back to the leg again. See, this will be the story of the match, is that he's working Jay Lethal's leg, and this will be the weak point of Jay Lethal for the match, probably. They probably thought this out ahead of time. These wrestlers think all this out ahead of time. They actually meet in the back. They talk out a match, what they want to do. Sometimes they'll practice a little bit and do spots.
Notice how DSP is saying these wrestlers, they meet behind the scenes and they like to talk these things out and figure out how they're going to make their plays like it's an actual sport, when really what he's saying is these actors meet behind and talk through their scripts and how they're going to play out the fight, and maybe they horse around a little bit and practice out these moves. Because this is the same man who did not realize that wrestling wasn't real until adulthood. Here's a clip to show that.
What impacted me more, finding out Santa wasn't real or WWE? Actually, that's a good question. I thought wrestling was real until around the mid-2000s. And then some scandals broke, like the Hulk Hogan scandal and stuff. And then I found out wrestling was fake. I didn't really know it until like the mid-2000s, seriously. Or excuse me, the mid-90s. I didn't mean the mid-2000s.
Why the fuck you lying?
The mid-90s. Yeah, mid-90s, around the era of Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. That's when I found out wrestling was fake. Blah, blah. But I don't want to hear their commentary. I want to commentate over the match. See, the reason why I turn off the commentators during when I do my sim matches in WWE 2K.
For all that is holy and for your own sanity, never check out his sim matches. Please, I beg you, because it might actually rot brain cells. That's all I've got to add to this.
As a young boy, was more interested.
It would look like Zach has the upper hand on Jay at this point. What's funny is Jay used to be much smaller, so Jay Lethal used to essentially be like Zack Sabre when he was younger. I remember seeing him in like the early to mid 2000s, and he was a much smaller guy, and now he's kind of bulked up and he's the bigger guy in these matches, which is kind of interesting. Yet it looks like he's still maintaining his athleticism, which is awesome.
You know, DSP, you say a bigger guy, that still has athleticism, but I also remember a bigger guy with athleticism that you said you could beat up because you were smaller and faster. Who was that? Hold on, let me find out.
Cheers. So would you rather fight Mike Tyson or replay all Crash Team Racing with the Guitar Hero controller? If I fought Mike Tyson, I probably could be faster than him. I would think, because he's pretty old and he probably can't move very well anymore. So maybe I could get around him and have to like hit him in the legs or something. But Crash Team Racing, I think, would be pretty unplayable with a guitar controller. So I'd probably fight Mike Tyson. Jay Lethal also used to have a crazy head of hair too, like different hairdos and stuff, and now he just shaves the head. But I'm sure what a lot of these guys do as they get older, why bother with, you know, getting older and losing your hair and everything and mess with the hairline, just freaking get it out of there. Right? Plus, to be honest, having hair, like long hair and stuff in wrestling is probably very detrimental. Probably gets caught in stuff, it gets annoying. Probably better to just wrestle without it anyway. So now, Jay Lethal seems like he's got control of the match. He had a reversal there, and now he's taking control of the series of strikes, right? He's going to work him in the corner now. There you go, the knife edge chop. That's what that's called. Because they pretend like the edge of your arm is a knife's edge. Boom, across the chest.
In the Burnell household, they call that the hatchet's edge, because we know he doesn't know what a knife looks like, but he has dual home defense hatchets ready to go. The same ones he iced tea with.
Actually, in real life, that's incredibly painful. A lot of people say that that's the move that they do to kind of work over your opponent, to actually have them get tired and or feel pain during a match, because everything else they're protecting. But that's one of the moves that you can actually do, like, for real, and it hurts a ton. Nice little drop kick. Are cheering. There's cheering now. Cheering, it's funny, in pro wrestling, I realized in the last 10 years, they do a lot of cheering now. I think always in the indies, they always did it. Like, it was always a big thing, like Ring of Honor and stuff like that. Like, when I went to WrestleMania in I want to say it was 2012, I think it was, we also went to a Ring of Honor show. And at the Ring of Honor show, everyone was constantly doing these cheers and chants that were all very audible, very, very musical. But when you go to a WWE show, you almost never hear that. It's weird, maybe it's because the crowd's bigger, maybe they just don't do it in America, I don't know.
So, this guy says he goes to one event and they're constantly cheering and chanting, and then he says he goes to another event, which I actually am not sure if I believe he went to a WWE event. I don't know wrestling. But then he goes on to say that he is not sure that chanting is a thing in America, when you could simply put on the Super Bowl. You could go to the local high school game. You could go anywhere, and you would very quickly find out that it's actually one of our favorite pastimes to be loud and obnoxious. What in the fuck are you talking about?
But the indie shows, you always hear that kind of stuff. Just like kind of you hear that kind of chanting at like a football, soccer match, right? So it's kind of similar that they do it in pro wrestling. So now you see the whole match has changed. First, they were evenly matched. Then it was Zack Sabre in control, because Zack Sabre had grabbed Jay Lethal's foot during that leapfrog and was working the leg. Now all of a sudden, Jay Lethal's been in control for about another 5 minutes. This is how they do their matches. So this is spot number 3 was Jay gets the upper hand. So now spot number 4, Zack now caught up Jay in the ropes. Now what's going to happen here? Well, he gets knife edge chopped to the outside. Oh, it looks like Jay's going to fly, signaling. He's signaling a move where he's going to come off the ropes. Here he goes. No! Because Zack was going to get back in. He turns around. Now he's going to... No! Interrupted again. Oh, no! Oh, no! 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 Papa Vera! Oh, fucking shit. Nice super kick. Jay Lethal. They call that the super kick. Oh, here we go. He's going for a move. And no! He was intercepted. He tried to do one of his signature moves off the ropes. He was intercepted by Zack Sabre Jr., who read the move. Very nice. So, it's funny because a lot of the times when you're watching a match like this, they say, oh my god, he really got hurt. No, he didn't. This is actually their rest time. So he pretends like he got hurt, and now both wrestlers get a chance to rest. Because he's basically overacting to show that he got hurt, to emphasize that he's injured. But in reality, there's no injury at all. He's just, he's just chilling out there, catching his breath, and gives Zack a chance to recuperate too. Wrestling is like 50% athleticism, 50% acting.
And I am 50% out of time and 50% done with Phil's shit. This video was to give you guys an example of what it looks like when Phil actually gives a shit about what he's talking about and what kind of commentary he's capable of doing. The rest of the video is available on Slayer's channel. I'm not about to steal it from him. So if you're curious about what he actually has to say about wrestling, I recommend you go check it out on DSP's biggest K-pop fan channel on YouTube. It's definitely not worth the visit, but if you're curious, it's there. But as far as this video goes, I have shown off what I care to show off, and I will be doing videos that are more interesting in the future. I wanted to do this one for myself because I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. And for those of you who made it this far with me, I want to say thank you. I know this is rough because this is my first video, but I will be making efforts in the future to improve, and if you guys have any recommendations, please drop them below. And for anyone that is new to me, I frequent features on Atlas the Bookkeeper's channel, and if you haven't checked him out already, please do. He is fantastic and a great guy. Thank you. Take this kiss upon thy brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong, you are correct, who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, let us know that the guy is surely dumb.